Welcome, friends. So, this is a short guided meditation mainly focusing on impermanence using the five subjects of frequent recollection as the basis. The Buddha often reminded us of old age, sickness, and death, something we are all subject to. So then, what happens if we bring a more reflective, contemplative quality to these questions by allowing the mind to become still and then bringing these realities to mind and then seeing what arises? And then I will ring the bell to start the meditation. So, again, with the posture, just finding a comfortable posture that one can be as still as possible. And then, when I ring the bell to start the meditation, just see how long you can follow the sound of the bell as it fades into silence. Taking a few deep breaths, breathing in and breathing out, just noticing wherever you can feel the breath most clearly, either at the nostrils, at the back of the throat, in the belly, wherever it may be, just bringing attention to the breath, allowing the mind to settle. Putting aside thoughts of the past or the future, and then noticing what is it like right now. And then there is the knowing, this is what it is like right now. The mind may be peaceful, the mind may be agitated. Again, whatever it may be like, just let it be. Breathing in and breathing out. If the mind is a bit more settled, a bit more present, resting in whatever it is like right now, one can gently introduce the thought, I am of the nature to age. I have not gone beyond aging. And just noticing what are the thoughts, what are the emotions that arise as we bring this thought to mind. Often, as we start to experience the realities of aging, the mind might say, I don't want to feel like this, I don't want to think about this. But what if we consciously bring the fact of aging into mind? What does it feel like? This body that has been born will not remain young forever. As we get older, we may start to experience more health problems, things we could do easily when we were young become more difficult. The body presents us with more and more limitations on a physical level, on a mental level. How do we feel about this? Do we pretend that it does not exist? Do we long for eternal youth? What would our lives be like if we were able to accept the reality of aging, to be at peace with what everyone experiences? I am of the nature to age. I have not gone beyond aging. Just bringing this thought to mind and seeing what arises. I am of the nature to sicken. I have not gone beyond sickness. So, sickness, illness, this too is a natural part of being alive. So, when we are healthy, when the body is doing fine, we can so easily take it for granted and just expect that it continues to do what it does. But then, when we encounter sickness, and suddenly we become much more limited in what we can do, how do we feel then? Do we feel, why me? Or this shouldn't be happening to me? What if we were to notice that sickness is a natural part of being alive? and recognize the possibility, noticing the fragility of the body. What a miraculous gift the body is. If we are able to do this, maybe a sense of gratitude arises, and there's less of an inclination to just take the body for granted. Doing what one can in order to look after the body, but also recognizing that the body is subject to illness. What do we feel like? Do we feel that illness is a misfortune? Or can we see illness as a divine messenger, attempting to tell us something about reality? I am of the nature to sicken. I have not gone beyond sickness. Bringing this thought to mind and seeing what arises. Is there fear? Is there anxiety? Is there a wish not to think about this? Is there a sense of peace or a recognition that, oh, this is just the way it is? The consequence of having a human body. Such a complex system functioning in a complex environment. Inevitably, there are times when certain aspects of that system cease to function or go wrong. When everything is fine, we can easily forget the miraculous nature of this body, everything that it does to allow us to continue with our lives. Bringing to mind the reality of sickness. How does that change our relationship to our lives? We may be healthy or we may be experiencing some form of illness. How do we relate to that phenomenon? The Buddha talked about our normally relating to life through a paradigm of conceit of health. Taking the normal body, or what society considers to be normal, as the way it should be. And if there is illness, then that can be seen as something wrong. And in terms of the divine messengers, after old age, after sickness, there is death. I am of the nature to die. I have not gone beyond dying. Every one of us who have been born are subject to death. There will come a time for this life to end. What do we feel? What do we think as we bring this thought to mind? The reality of our own death, the nature of impermanence or anicca, breathing in and breathing out, allowing the mind to settle and noticing what are the thoughts, what are the feelings that arise as we bring the thought of our own death to mind. I am of the nature to die. I have not gone beyond dying. The Buddha talked about the conceit of the living. As we go about our ordinary lives, we can so easily forget about the reality of impermanence, the reality of our own future death. What if we were able to live with a constant recognition of that fact? How would we live our lives then? It's not about feeling depressed or feeling scared, but recognizing the preciousness of this moment we have now. If we are able to learn to stay completely in the present moment, then when the time for us to die comes, then even at that time, we are able to learn from that experience. The body knows how to die. One in breath or one out breath. The Buddha suggested that this is a time we can be reasonably certain that we are still alive. Longer than that, we do not know. What if we were able to live like that? How would we change our lives? What would we give importance to? Would we dismiss the ordinary as unimportant? Would we dismiss the people we care about most and take them for granted? Bringing to mind the reality of our own death. I am of the nature to die. I have not gone beyond dying. Then moving on to the fourth recollection, all that is mine, beloved and pleasing, will become otherwise, will become separated from me. Impermanence on an external level. How does one feel if one brings this thought to mind? Again, the point is not to become depressed, but just noticing where is it that we seek happiness? Where is it that we seek satisfaction or contentment? And if these are false refuges, then inevitably suffering will follow. But if we remember, all that is mine, beloved and pleasing, will become otherwise, will become separated from me. How does that change how we relate to those things or people we care about? What meaning does that add to what we have in the present, not longing for something we might have in the future, or regretting something we had in the past, but noticing and giving value to what we have here and now? And then finally, the fifth recollection: I am the owner of my karma, heir to my karma, related to my karma, abide supported by my karma. Whatever karma I shall do, of that I will be the heir. So karma is intentional action through body, speech or mind. What happens if we recollect this? Sometimes we may encounter good fortune, or we might encounter misfortune. What if we reflect? I am the owner of my karma, heir to my karma, born of my karma, related to my karma, abide supported by my karma. Whatever karma I shall do, for good or for ill, I will be the heir. We can always choose what action to do or how to speak. Do we do actions that cause harm to ourselves or others? Do we speak in ways that might hurt others or help others? Just noticing, what does it feel like if we bring this thought to mind? Is it true? If we do good things, that good things follow, and if we do things that might be harmful, negative results follow. We can try it out in our lives. Breathing in and breathing out. Again, nearing the end of the meditation, allowing the mind to settle, noticing the effect of having done this practice. So as I ring the bell to end the meditation, again see how long you can follow the sound of the bell as it fades into silence. Thank you for all your effort. I hope it was beneficial.